Check it out. This video is a response video, commentary, and an extra reply to a video titled Why He Quit Fresh and Fit by the Unfiltered Podcast. And when I'm talking about him, I'm not referring to this individual you see in the black shirt. No, it is the individual who is in the white shirt, who happens to go by the name of Eric, and he was once an employee or worker of a podcast called Fresh and Fit. Now, we don't know the truth. Did he actually quit the podcast called Fresh and Fit, or was he fired from Fresh and Fit? For those who don't know, Fresh and Fit is a podcast based out in Miami where their main thing is the after hours show, where they feature a panel of women each night, and that's the formula of the show. One of Eric's duties was to recruit such women to get on the show, as well as other lackey duties. Essentially, Eric was a lackey. You tell him to do something, he's going to get it for you. Just don't ask Eric, the one in the white shirt, to do something too hard, because that goes beyond lackey duties. Now that we got that out of the way, I'm about to really dig into my commentary on these two individuals. Individual on the white shirt and individual in the black shirt. Because the thing is, despite what the video title tells you, why he quit Fresh and Fit, right? The individual in the white shirt, or maybe he got fired from Fresh and Fit. The truth is, both individuals here, white shirt and black shirt, both got fired from Fresh and Fit. You see, she, the one in the black shirt, goes by the name of Angela Knight. She was one of the girls on the panel in one of the episodes. She wanted to initially, in this video, and you can watch it here in the timestamp that I'm sure if you DM them, they will tell you, she wanted to be on the table, right? That's where the main camera is in the podcast. However, because the way she was acting, in other words, not acting very maybe partyful, not drinking, not participating in the festivities, she got fired from being on the table, and they put her on the couch. And most of all, you got fired from being on the table and on the couch is because you're not giving something in return of being on the table, right? Why do people watch Fresh and Fit? We want to see Jerry Springer vibes. We want to see trashiness. I want to see raunchy behavior. Unfortunately, that's what people are looking for, not necessarily for philosophical talking points. I just want to see crazy stuff. And if you're not demonstrating crazy behavior, they're not going to reward you with what you want, which is a seat at the table. So you can't just go in and demand, say, oh, I'm going to do my thing and that's it. And that's it. Nope. It's not a one-way relationship. It's a two-way street. You provide the entertainment, you provide the value, they give you a seat at the table. That's how it works. But because you did not do that and just went in cold-faced, they fired you from the table and they put you on the couch. And I'm about to go off on a soapbox because in this podcast, Mr. Eric, the white shirt character, he stated that if he were present on the podcast that she went on as a panel, he would have made sure that she was never on the couch and made her on the table. Stop the cap. Stop the simping. Stop the white knight behavior. Because if you were actually there, none of this would have actually happened. She would have remained on the couch because one, I hate to say it, Eric, you're not a star player. You're a lackey. You're a behind the scenes guy. If you were a star player, if you were maybe command number 2, maybe, but you're not. So stop saying, oh, if I was there, you would have never been on the couch. Stop the cap. But here's the thing. Even though the character in the black shirt, she calls herself Angela Knight, the way she's acting, it seems like she's more of a pawn. Because if you check out this person's Instagram, I think she goes by the name Angela Knight _ in one of her posts on her Instagram, she talked about that she once owned a nail salon and felt it was way more work than working at a nail salon in her prior life. Well, here's the thing. When you are an entrepreneur, your first shop is going to work a lot more hours, right? It's not easy. Salon life's not easy. Entrepreneurship pays off until you get your maybe second or third nail salon store. Your first one's going to be really hard, and you might be lucky if you're breaking even, right? You're going to work a lot harder than the people that you hire. because they're the ones clocking in at a schedule. You can't clock out. You're there to be at the end all be all for everything, not just doing nails, but maybe for business management, maybe for cleaning, maybe for business licensing, maybe for state government, city government issues. Because I know a lot of nail salons, they got to follow protocol. You got to be not just a nail salon worker, but you also have to have multiple hats just to satisfy being a nail salon entrepreneur. And here's the thing. I'm sure it's really, really hard to work at a nail salon, right? Especially if you're in like a, let's say, an air conditioned building. You're sitting down and you're just doing a little bit of this type of motion, right? It seems like that's the hardest job in the world. Pause. Now that we're done with the character in the black shirt who goes by the name Angela Knight, I'm going to get into Mr. Eric, the one in the white shirt. Here's the first problem. You got a little tattoo on your neck, a little bit of that Jorge Masvidal type of design. Here's the problem. I believe in the podcast, he said he was a felon, which is going to be very hard for you to get a job. But now you got a tattoo on your neck. You can't work in retail. That's a fact. You go in any grocery store, they're not going to put you as a cashier. They're not going to put you as a front. In fact, you're going to be lucky if they put you in the back. And when I say they put you in the back, I'm not talking about in the meat or deli section. I'm talking about back in the warehouse of the store where you don't even see them unless if you work there as an employee. And most importantly, whether he quit the podcast Fresh and Fit or got fired from Fresh and Fit, you got to play your position because you are unfortunately in a lackey type of position. Because what were you doing? Recruiting people for the panel of the podcast, doing things like, hey, take care of this event. You're not really doing something that's a key to the podcast. You're on a shorter leash. From what I've seen, people who work menial jobs, they get a 2-strike. Or if the first strike is so severe, they'll let you go. Because who they can find? Anyone else who can do what you do. So you got to really play your position in that part. Because what he states, we don't know the truth, why he got fired or quit was he was responsible for some type of a party for the subscribers of the podcast Fresh and Fit. He talked to a promoter disrespected him. He disrespected the promoter back. They went back and forth, and that was that. Now, according to one of the hosts of the Fresh and Fit podcast, he felt that was a really bad move because this person disrespected one of the biggest promoters in Miami. So you're not just disrespecting somebody who's the owner of one club, maybe of multiple venues and multiple promoters talk. So that was probably it for this person to, all right, he's got to go from a firing perspective. Now, if he actually quit, if that's the truth, maybe he quit because he felt he wasn't being respected, where he was treated like a lackey, because that's who you are. Even though you think you are something more, what you're doing is on some lackey vibes, and that's keeping it real. And here's something that he didn't talk about in the podcast, but I think we really have to address this allegation. He was trying to Mr. Eric, the one in the white shirt, right? And this is the person I'm referring to, Mr. Eric. He was saying, oh, he got fired because he was messing around with one of the host's girls. That's a red herring. That's like a fake reason. I don't think people are really going to go in on that or believe that. There was one allegation, I think there's some legitimacy to it, is that, remember when I said that Mr. Eric, white shirt person right here, was responsible for the subscriber party, right? Basically finding the venue, taking care of the management of the party. Well, there was an allegation that using his position then on the Fresh and Fit podcast as person responsible for the party, that he was pocketing payments. That's right. The allegation was some people he would contact, or people will contact him, the one in the white shirt, saying, hey, cash at me, or send me payment through here if you want a little discount. But here's the thing. They weren't paying for the actual ticket to the party. He was just pocketing the cash. That's a huge allegation. I could see it happening, whether it's before the incident, because, you know, as a lackey, you're not getting paid much money. With this party, it's your opportunity to pocket some extra cash. And they were charging some pretty big prices for the party. I think it was $500 a pop, 1K, 2K, 3K. He could have been like, yo, cash at me 400 and I'll let you slide in. And some people, they might just take that chance because That's what somebody would do. They're tempted, right? They are a lackey with lackey pay. This is my chance to get a little bit of payday, right? I'm going to feed into that temptation. Or maybe it happened afterwards when he got fired. He's like, screw them. They fire me, I'll show them. I'm going to commit some fraud and get some extra money. So people who are sending money to me, they think they're getting tickets to the party. Nope. They're just filling up my bank account. And here's the thing I like to introduce to y'all. I think I did show earlier. I call it, or it's called the fraud triangle. We refer to Eric, the white shirt person. He had pressure, motivation, or incentive to commit fraud. One incentive is I ain't getting paid enough, so I'm going to do this as a way to get more money. Rationalization, justification of dishonest actions. Maybe I'm getting disrespected at the podcast. Screw them. I'm just trying to get even. I'm not just trying to take what doesn't belong to me. I take what is deserved of what I should get. Opportunity, the knowledge and ability to carry out the fraud. Mr. Eric, the one in the white shirt, he is the responsible person for the party, right? As advertised by the host, as advertised on his Instagram page at the time. That's the opportunity to do this type of fraud. Pocket the money, but not actually give an actual ticket to people who gave you that money. So this is what I call the fraud triangle. And my tip to anyone who's trying to host like these huge subscriber parties, whether it's the Fresh and Fit podcast on YouTube or any other YouTube channel, you just got to outsource it. Like outsource it to a third party. Don't give it to your employees who may not be getting paid that much. Just outsource it and let the company take care of it. It's going to take care of headaches, weird situation. Just let a third party deal with it. Overall, I think this podcast does have potential to be a little bigger than it is, but they can't keep up with the whole Mr. Eric and Angela Knight dynamic because it's a little boring, right? We want to see raunchiness. We want to see Jerry Springer vibes. I want to see craziness. I want to see WWE professional wrestling vibes, because if you're trying to compete or provide a niche, you got to do something a little crazy. But that's just my opinion. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Put a like and subscribe. Put a comment below if you got something to say about it. I'll see y'all next time.